Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here on the studio, on the BIM World Studio 2019. And we have a very interesting topic this afternoon, standardization and open CDE. CDE stands for Common Data Environment. And we have here with us Frank Weiss from Oracle, Professor André Bormann from the Technical University of Munich, and Dr. Jan Tulke from the company, I have to say that in German, I believe, because it's a typical German thing, this company, Planen Bauen 4.0. The last thing was English, by the way. Interesting. So, Frank, common data environment. So what? What's behind this frame, this word?
Well, a common data environment is actually a platform which derived from the UK when it was defined as a PAS 1192 standard, or today an ISO 19650 standard. Actually, it's like the foundation, like this fantastic fair which we have here in Munich at the BIM World, where you enable lots of business to get all partners together. And you have this been built on 3 pillars, which is simplicity, neutrality, and security.
Could we name it also collaboration data environment then?
Well, the common data environment enables collaboration. I think that's the main topic which is actually now en vogue after we have achieved so many great things with authoring software, which enables modeling and all of these pieces. But now the next 30% of improvement clearly lies in collaboration. So in that sense, my answer would be yes.
Okay. André, I mean, normally the scientific view and the corporate view are sometimes a bit different. Would that be also your definition of common data environment?
Yes, I mostly agree. I would say the most important part is that we store the data that we have at a central location, and that everyone who is involved in the project has access to this data. And that's the big plus of a common data environment.
Okay, and from a Planen Bauen 4.0, I mean, being established by the government in Germany and by important player out of the industry in Germany to establish a kind of movement through those standards, right? Could you tell us a bit more about how you drive in Germany the topic of common data environment? Jan?
Yeah, I think it's an important part as part of the collaboration, of course, and also in the BIM roadmap we developed for the Ministry of Infrastructure. Mm-hmm. It also stated there that it should be used to exchange the data at certain points in the project, and so yeah, it's important part. And yes, as in the UK, it's a kind of workflow. Yeah, how you should handle the data and inform the project team and make clear what status this data is in. And we wanted to think also about how can technology help us to set this in place.
Is this in UK already mandatory? Question to all of you.
Yes, the CDE is part of BIM level 2, and it has to be used in all public projects in the UK.
Okay, so as we have here a real international company on the stage with Oracle, and Oracle is known also to drive interoperability. I think this is a fundamental thing of Oracle. Could you tell us a bit more about this fundamental part of Oracle to drive interoperability?
Well, actually, it's an interesting point. When I became a part of Oracle, I was kind of blessed, because it's really in the part of the DNA of Oracle to force into that. That goes really back to the founder of Larry Ellison. I think in that area, like 2 years ago, it was actually Jan and myself when we discussed in Berlin that these existing standards like PAS 1192 and ISO 19650 are a great foundation. However, it's absolutely difficult to order a CDE. That's why we initiated the DIN Spec 91391, which in detail gives 260 requirements. What the hell is a common data environment? And that's a real great thing, because it can help so many people to make up their mind when they order it, what can it do? And all of that has to be built on open standards, which is part 2, when it talks about open CDE.
Okay, and that's also the reason why you with Oracle are now a member, or Oracle and you are a member of the SAC, right? From the Building Smart Alliance.
Yes. Yeah, well,
For
actually,
Building Smart International Alliance, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. What we have realized, and that goes also a little bit back to Jan's credits, that he has been pushing for that data exchange in that area. But we have realized in that 1 year of work, we cannot do that in a German context or in a DACH context. This doesn't make sense. We are a multinational world. Look at this fair, where we probably have about 25 or 30% international visitors.
For sure,
It is so important that we work on international standards. And that's why we have taken that to Building Smart International, have created in Düsseldorf a roundtable for the Open CDE. And since then, that now has resulted into the first working prototype, which we also have presented here at BIM World this afternoon.
Oh, that's great. Jan, one question to you. I mean, you're representing, at least in Germany, perhaps in those sports, so you have to travel a lot. How is the relation then with the other countries involved in these standardization processes?
Yeah, I mean, this is a topic which is important in all the countries, and we also raised it on the CEN level. As Frank just stated, we started on a national level with DIN, but now, just recently, we had the first meeting also on CEN level, so all European countries are involved now
Okay.
as well to get that to the next level.
Okay. How could science drive that?
Yeah, I think what I would like to add really is that open standards are allowing to realize the fair markets, to have a fair access to the market, and finally allow us to develop better products and have better prices. So it's really something very valuable.
Coming from the science, so what is for you a real innovation? I believe this is quite difficult to bring you to the stage that you say, wow, that's really new. I never thought about that, right?
That's true. Maybe I would say in terms of BIM, we are in another phase. Maybe we are not in the complete innovation phase anymore, but we are more in the establishment phase, trying to have robust solution for the market that can be really relied on. And that's where we are right now. So that's maybe more important now.
That's clear. But I believe Oracle is doing already a lot of innovation things, right? And you showcase at your booth a kind of innovation lab. Could you tell us a bit more about that, Frank?
Yeah, so we have, on the 23rd of August last year, we have kicked off our innovation lab in Deerfield, Chicago. So that's actually like a playground for girls and boys.
Big girls and big boys. Right?
Yeah. So the big boys and the big girls. So what's the purpose of it? Actually, we invite our ecosystem partners, and actually before we bring out new software, we would like to enable that in a field that people can really experience that. And it's very interesting to see that this is obviously currently also a trend, also happening here in Germany with the Fraunhofer Institute, like Thomas Kiermaier, pushing that forward. And the feedback we've got there is like sensational, because we have like, I think, 3 parties coming a day visiting the lab from different parts of the world. So our founder now has released the second phase to build up the hall with our own tech, where we invite like once a month the press to have a look at it. What does it do? How can it help? How does it enable? And we want to also bring that to Australia and also to Europe on a later stage.
As I'm also a big boy, how could I apply for that?
Well, just buy yourself a ticket. You're more than invited to come over.
Okay, let's see. We will have negotiations about that topic later on, I would say. Ecosystem is very important, and we are representing here for sure also ecosystem. The trade show is also ecosystem, by the way. But how do you engage with the ecosystem, Jan? I mean, your role is to have an ecosystem in place in Germany, right? To try to get all the different islands to connect it. And as we have not a situation like in France, where everything is directly controlled from Paris, we have this different situation in Germany. But you have to act a bit like, you have to find a way to collaborate with all these regional activities. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think that's right. That's also here to overcome the silos out also in terms of data silos. and therefore it's important to have standardization, so that everybody talks the same language. And that's also coming back to the CDE, the second part, where we try to find a standard programming interface, so that we also have a kind of plug and play possibility, so that everybody come join the team and bring in its own technology, but be part of the whole project.
I thought more a bit about also driving innovation. I mean, so many cluster activities are running around about Germany. I think it's important also to drive innovations over such cluster initiatives. Is this also something you're looking in?
We are participating in a lot of projects with a lot of partners for the different topics, but especially for the clusters, it's important to share experience and to share some new ideas how we could work together more effectively.
Okay. Back just for one question to the university. Yeah. I mean, universities are very well known today for spin-offs. And I think especially in your faculty, software is a key part. Do you see a lot of interest from students to do a spin-off related to the construction business?
Absolutely. There's really a big wave of students that are eager to create their own startup. They have amazing ideas. They have, I would say, the most innovative ideas because they are really open-minded. And they have really a drive. So we will see a lot of new companies. Maybe not all of them will survive, but I hope that the good ideas will find their way into the market.
A lot of those startups are talking today about the digital twin.
Yeah.
Who wants to explain to our audience what is a digital twin, by the hell?
Well, actually, we believe a digital twin is a representation of the physical world and the digital world. So that has, of course, different phases. It needs to be designed. There's that flying term of, build digital first before you put into concrete, because then it may be too late. So that's one piece. But the biggest story is definitely when it then also turns from design over construction to operations, where you have IoT sensors, where you learn, where a real estate, where an object actually or an asset becomes something dynamic. And I'm just coming back from Australia, visiting the Arup Innovation Lab there as well, and the Digital Twin Summit of Lend-Lease. And it's quite amazing how people think about assets in the future. They really put like a maximum term there out where they say everything has to be fairer, easier, and if people go to work, they should go back refreshed. They should not do like we know that in our language, Hauptsache geschafft. So, which means, you did your work and then you are tired. No, it's changing that, vice versa. And that's, I think, a very interesting term to put the human in the foreground, and not just looking in tech integrations or other things.
That's very good to hear that the Lend-Lease companies down under here, directly on the other side here, are driving that already, because the investment community, I think it's a very, very important driver to bring digital twins alive, because at least they buy then a real building, and in the same process they buy the digital building, right? Yes. I mean, maintenance is also a good question, I believe, there. Do you see nice startups for maintenance of a digital twin? Because you have to maintain the data. Otherwise, forget the digital twin later or sooner.
Yes, a famous QM startup is Nevis, just over there. They are focusing on generating digital twins for buildings, at least from a geometry point of view. But that's maybe only one part of the entire story. Yeah. So in the future, we will see more like this, maybe focusing more on other aspects like conditional data from IoT sensors, data about your fire equipment, and so on and so forth, which would then bring the real value into the digital twin.
We are strong believers today, so the whole BIM world exists because we believe that sensors have to be integrated in a digital environment, and only if they have an interaction with the digital environment, the sensor could give additional benefits beside just the core sensor information. Yeah?
Exactly.
And this is exactly the reality, I believe, we are facing, and then we come to a smart digital twin later or sooner.
Absolutely, and then you will have the possibility to analyze not only one building, but many, many buildings. You have many digital twins, and then you can learn from this data and see patterns, and that's again something where we can
Pattern
have
recognition.
even more benefits from the digital twin.
Yeah. Very interesting journey, I believe, especially for a company like Oracle. I mean, you could use your existing software tools you have, your algorithms you have, perhaps, and exactly for these goals we have. I'm looking forward to see you again next year at the same place, same time nearly. Hopefully not directly in conflict with Thanksgiving, but hopefully
Let's see.
we will solve that problem. Perhaps the American could change the date for Thanksgiving, and then we will be back here in 1 year and discuss further how the digital twin could become alive very fast. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
See you soon. Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.